Hello and welcome back to Shining Force. Also, as a side note, you know how in several of these episodes I've said that the game really needs to have like a photosensitive epilepsy warning because of all the flashing lights? Well, I actually hadn't turned this game on from like the start screen in a while because I had just had the console in sleep mode, you know, with the game still being the current game for ages. So when I had to reset my console to get an update and turned it back on, I realized there actually is an epilepsy warning at the start of the load up for the Sega Genesis collection as a whole. Presumably because... Alright, I gotta make a copy of this one sec. Presumably because they were aware of just how many of these older games had sequences of flashing lights. So apparently I was right about the photosensitive epilepsy issue, and it's global to this entire collection of games, not just this one. They are filled with flashing lights. I guess back in the day, you know, graphical limitations, it's the old systems. They had to show dramatic things somehow. Oh, and you may notice our hero, since the last episode, I finally got around to just... I was like, you know what, I'm just going to grind everyone up to the point where I can promote them. In part because I looked up the... I thought there might be some sort of secret to this boss. Apparently there isn't. Some bosses just have flat HP regen. I actually noticed something like this with General Elliot, who also had... he had less than this boss, because he was an earlier boss. He had it too. I noticed while I was fighting him that... But I thought I wasn't paying enough attention, so I was like, oh, did I mistake how much damage I do? I thought his HP was lower than that. I didn't realize he was regenerating it. So the boss we're going to fight, Mishaela, has a flat HP per turn regen, and there's nothing you can do about that. So in order to make any progress, we have to deal more than 15 damage to her every turn, when previously our melee fighters, our physical fighters were doing scratch damage. And the mages had kind of run out of MP by the time we got up there. So it just seemed sort of hopeless, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll have to do some grinding to beat this. And I was like, you know, I might as well just grind, get everyone to 20, and promote everyone. I'm gonna have to do it at some point. And, you know, we want to be able to buy the upgraded weapons. They don't... when I looked up where you can buy the weapons, at first I thought that Dragonia would be the last town, but it's actually the next one after this prompt. So that's gonna be our last shot to buy them all. So we might as well get everyone to the point where we can use them. So you can see, I'm just gonna talk to him so you can see our full list. I ground our main party up a couple levels too, because, I had read online... Look, Ben is the only one whose portrait changes when he promotes. It gets like... He has super 80s hair now. He's like a mullet and it's really fluffy. It's pretty amazing. Everyone else's portrait is the same, but you can see that everyone is at least promoted. They all promoted at 20. And our main party are like at level 2 or 3. Domingo cannot promote. So he's just still his old self. Grinding on this map, it was actually, and Jogurt also, he actually can promote. I promoted him just for giggles, because he had the option. He promotes to level 1 and he becomes Jogurt. He doesn't change, it's a joke. And I actually only bought a few, we already had the broadsword we found in a chest, and we had a spare steel sword. And Ben can now wield the Sword of Light, which before he couldn't. I also looked up what all the different rings did. The black ring and the evil ring are both cursed, but apparently if you use them as an item, they cast attack spells, so we might give that a try. I think they have like a chance of breaking if you do that, but we're not wearing them anyway. May also has the halberd you're seeing on the right there. That was another item we found in a chest that couldn't previously be equipped. Everyone else, we got them the chrome lances. Not everyone has a power spear because they're not sold in this town, and we were one short before. Gord is carrying this heat axe, which we got as a random drop ages ago. I didn't buy an upgraded weapon for him yet, because there's another upgrade in the next town anyway. So I just waste money. And they have the Guardian Staff, which at first I thought also boosted defense. I thought I remembered that, but that may be from a different game, because it doesn't seem to. The weapons aren't as important for the healers and the mages, obviously, because they don't need to attack, but we're like swimming in gold at this point because of all the level grinding. Grinding your entire party up to competitive levels really means you never need to worry about gold. Oh, and we already had, that's on the left there for equipment, you can see the Holy Staff. That's another one we found in a chest, which is only equipable by the upgraded healers. And on the right, remember the white ring, how I couldn't find anyone to equip it on? Well, this is the only ring in the game that has class restrictions. It can only be equipped by the hero, and our main character's class is now hero and vicars. That's what these are here. Oh, I guess I'll go through what they all are. I didn't know all of these as a kid. I've now looked them up. We have our paladins, of course. It's funny, in D&D, a paladin is like a holy knight, but I'm also really used to thinking of paladin as a mounted knight because of Fire Emblem in this game. In this game, they're centaurs. These are the gladiators. Apparently this, as a kid, I never knew what this one was. I was completely stumped by S-Burn, but apparently it's Steam Baron. We have our wizards. He's still a magical creature. And the vicar, the master monk. I believe this is the bow master. They're actually really cool. You'll see them in the battle soon. They have like guns now. It's very steampunkish. And Lyle, apparently, I had thought he was a pre-promote, but he wasn't. He was just he's just a centaur archer, basically. It's just a different class. He came in way behind, too, at level 8. I grinded him all the way up. He wasn't that hard to train. And he's now, apparently this stands for Strike Knight, which is a little uncreative. These are the Sky Warriors, which is a really badass name. He apparently is, I think he's the Sky Lord or something, or Sky Lancer, maybe. I don't remember now. And I believe Blue has gone from being a dragon to a Great Dragon. Or maybe like Guardian Dragon. I think it's Great Dragon though. He's the other one besides Ben whose portrait changes. Basically, he apparently evolved like a Pokemon and went from being a baby dragon to being an adult dragon. And Xylo became a Wolf Baron, which is quite cool. We've had some changes in attack animations too, so we'll see all that soon. So now let's go check out our map sprites, which look different too. The main thing is they all look way more elaborate, to the point of being silly. Like, this is Guns on my left here. Before, he was a little armadillo in a mecha suit. Now he's just a giant mecha suit. He's like swallowed up in it. Even the paladins, they're covered in armor now, so they're looking a lot tankier. Chris's outfit has also gotten way more fancy and elaborate. She's got a cool hat. Our archers are also wearing like metal armor and carrying like a backpack with bullets. We already saw it last time, these Sky Warriors of armor. Blue, I think he may have gotten a little bigger, but he may actually look exactly the same. I'm not sure. And Xylo's wearing like a cape and a cool outfit. When you'll see his battle sprite though, he appears to have skipped pants. So that's a little weird. I guess he's an animal person, so it's okay. He's like Donald Duck. And our wizards have basically much more elaborate robes. And Tao also gets the hood of her outfit is up now, the mage hood. And their in-battle sprites are of course different too. We'll just pop up here so we can see some of our other friends. This is actually Lo, who I'm standing next to here. He's our other vicar. He looks so different. It's super crazy. These are the gladiators. They got shields and axes. They're pretty cool. So they're looking good. And now let's just go check out Gong. Some of these... Oh, and this is Kokichi over here. It's sort of hard to tell what he looks like at first. He basically... His arm became more elaborate. It's got like a helicopter propeller on top now. And like it's like super tanky. Joker does the same. And Gong over here has gotten a fancier hat and is wearing like a cooler outfit. And Ben, of course, is now wearing a cape and like a super elaborate suit of armor. I think you're starting to see here what I meant when I said that some of the upgrade classes don't look as nice. I personally think that the more elaborate sprites, and it's because it's an old game partly, so it's like graphical limitations of the system. I think simpler sprites, it's like easier to immediately see what their deal is. The more little details there are, the more the sprite starts to look a little busy in mine. So I actually like a lot of the unpromoted sprites better. I feel like they just have more immediate impact because they're more basic. So here we are back in this castle. We're fighting Mishaela at long last. Oh, if you're hearing a lot of clanking and grinding in the background of this recording, it's because I have radiator heat in my apartment and the radiator just turned on, so that's gonna be great for this recording I'm making. But it's like, there's nothing I can do about it. It's winter in Boston. It's really cold out. So here we are back on this map. All the chests have already been opened, so we don't have to bother with that. It turned out to be pretty good for grinding. Because you have the two groups of enemies at the start, and these guys are pretty weak. And then we can kind of go up here and deal with these mages. And the Belials also give a lot of X. Towards the end, things were giving so much less X that it was like painful. But we did eventually grind everyone up. Some of them were harder to train than others. Gong, I'm looking at you. That was painful. He couldn't hit. He couldn't get KOs. I had to finally get his last level by doing a lot of healing. It was terrible. Like, I just think our party looked a little cooler and also more comprehensible before. The archer sprites in particular, I think if the game was a more modern game with sort of more modern graphics, they would all look fine. It's just that the graphical limitations are such that she just looks like there's just so many things going on. Same with the birds to a certain extent that you just kind of can't even tell what they're supposed to be wearing anymore. But they're certainly, well, they're more powerful now. I had read on a forum post on the internet previously that when you upgrade your stats are set to, like, each class has its bases when it's promoted. See, like, look how silly this looks. He looks like he's dressed up as, like, a superhero or something. I think his unpromoted sprite just looks a lot cooler and a little more badass. I said this way at the beginning of the game, but there's quite a lot of them that I think their unpromoted sprites look better. But, you know, they're real weak if you never promote them. I think we already got to look at Amun before, but here's the Sky Warrior. So they're basically covered in armor now, which is sort of weird because, like, they're flying, they're birds, but I guess it's fine. They don't have armor over the wings, I guess. They can still do it. You can see we're getting a lot of exp. So when we were, like, at level 19, those guys were giving, like, 10 when you killed them. Now they're giving 48 again. It's because it's based on our numerical level. So she's at level 3, so she gets a lot of exp. And just as I read on that forum post, the stats did indeed reset, and across the board, that meant everyone's stats dropped, sometimes by a lot. The mages lost like 7 points of MP. You know, we had a lot of drops of 4 or 5, so there was some pretty substantial stat decrease. I'm guessing because the game sort of expects you to promote sooner. See, look how badass that is. She's got like a giant steampunk rifle shooting like lasers or something. It's really cool. Like it a lot. Here's Domingo tanking like a champ. He's got so much MP now too. Look at that. He has 51 MP. He's ridiculous. But yeah, but anyway, I think the game probably expects you to promote a little earlier, so you wouldn't have all of those sort of excess stats that you built up from the extra levels you got. So kind of, but I did notice that as I've been leveling them up these first couple levels to kind of make up for that, the initial levels gave them some absurd stat gains. Not everyone, but like when people got stats, some of them got like 7 points in a stat at once, which I think is probably... I think in the forum post I read said something like this, that the first levels, those initial levels after you promote, are influenced by how high level you got to before you promoted. So I'm guessing what's going on is that because we were all the way up to level 20, we get a lot of bonus stats to compensate. You know what, I'm gonna go for it. We need to save the spells for the boss because it's gonna be really hard to take out that much HP that quickly against the regen, but these guys actually can do a lot of damage, so I just want to get us a good start in wrapping them up here. Look how little XP got at this point. He's high level now. Honestly, it's the same for Tom. Like, I gotta save it all. I feel like I can't use them till the boss. So the wizards are now... See, I think they're pre-promoted sprites. The mage sprites are cooler. It's cool if they're levitating the staff and all, but the lift the staff over the head pose just seem really iconic and like, you shall not pass style. And I love their pointy wizard hats and capes. Whereas this to me kind of looks like she's wearing a hoodie and she's halfway through taking it off. Like it's just kind of flopping. The color is cool though. It's like a really bright purple, which is kind of neat. Henri, we'll see her sprite at some point in this battle, I'm sure, but I actually found that her outfit is, like, before promotion, it was sort of like a light blue cape and kind of a sort of navy blue robe, but now the color is much darker, so I find that it's sort of hard to distinguish the details on it. It's like too dark for the system to be able to do the shading properly, which, again, I feel is sort of graphical limitations. It's an old game. You can see her outfit, her, like, map sprite, the color looks a little darker too. But yeah, so we got those first couple levels just to kind of boost us back up to where we had been. And I'm assuming the game is sort of designed to take into account that stat loss and just sort of bring you back up. I did also read that if you want to maximize your character's stats, which we can now do, now that we're promoted, you basically, like, there are people who just reset, like, every time they get a level until they get the best possible level ups, which gets harder and harder as you go on because the game, the algorithm is designed to pull you back to the mean. But if you have the patience, apparently you can do it. There we go. For some reason I kept clicking back and forth. I thought I was clicking sideways. Her outfit isn't that much more complicated than it was before. It's just super different. So it's kind of like an elaborate clerical gown, I guess. It's very like robes, big sleeves, the hat. It looks cool. I still like her promoted sprite. Unlike some of them, I think it actually does look... I forgot this guy was... and he's like ensconced completely in this mecha suit. You can't even see him anymore. It's so crazy. I still think Ben looks disappointing. He just looks sort of silly. And he also suffers from the problem of the color palette is so dark that the shading is hard to distinguish. He had a little more, like in his pre-promote version, he had more colors on his sprite. This one was kind of all the same color. Blue now, he actually has two different attacks. Sometimes he does that breathe out lightning one. His wings also got more elaborate and he got bigger basically. He also is more obviously like, he's not exactly a standard dragon. He's like bipedal. He has feet and hands, but is also dragon. It's a little weird. He's sort of odd. But I'm kind of running through this quickly because I've now done this like a dozen times. And since we have all the chests, there's no need to go on the side routes. It's kind of nice having done a first run through where we did that. Xylo also attacks really differently, and again, this is a case where I think his pre-promote animation was also cooler. Because remember, before he promoted, he like leaped up in the air and then like, slammed into, you know, his foe, and it was super. There's no point in us attacking her now because she'll recover it. Now that I know about her recovery, but I mean, he like, you know, slammed down into them and was like this badass werewolf. Now, on his next turn, I shall demonstrate his new animation, which is super insane, but also not quite as cool in my opinion, just sort of nuts. So here's Dawn. You can see that the paladins basically have a lot more armor. They almost look like tanks, you know? Which is pretty realistic to actual mounted medieval knights. They were the tanks of their day. But again, it's cool and all, but I like the pre-promote sprites better because it's easier to distinguish. Like, you can kind of actually see the character's head, so you can tell them apart a little more easily. You can kind of see, like, their face a little bit. You know, they're facing away from the camera, but, like, they look a little more distinctive. They sort of blend together in their promoted forms. And I don't know, they seem to have a bit more character. The odd thing is also that they also seem to be smaller. I'm assuming it's because they all have to fit into the same sized space on screen. So when the sprite gets more elaborate, it has to be shrunk slightly to make it still fit. That's just a guess, though. I don't know why it would be smaller, really. That sort of light is incredibly strong, by the way. It at a time when our best sword has plus 20 to attack, that does plus 36. It's the only two swords that are better than it. One of them is a cursed sword, and one of them you don't get until like a battle at the end of the game from a chest. So that weapon is incredible. So here we go. Here's Xylo's crazy animation. Also, notice the weird lack of pants. Yes, he no longer physically attacks the enemy. He summons, like, the spirits of wolves to smash into him. See, look how big those stat increases were. This has been something of a trend in these early... I think that will drop off as we get higher in level. I think this is sort of helping us catch up, basically, to where we were before we promoted. You can see everyone has a lot more HP, too, so we got some massive stat gains up front. When you finally promote, it's like they're helping you out. Which I'm hoping that will help, because the first this battle, my melee fighters couldn't damage it. Our attack was just so low. And I think that was partly due to a lack of using the promoted weapons, and partly just because our stats just could only be so high prior to promotion. So I'm hoping this will help get us up to the point where we can damage her a bit better. Very nice, Dawn. Or May, rather. Sorry. I confused her with Dawn from Shining Force Sword of Hasia, who's also one of the first centaurs you get, and has a similar color scheme. I kind of mixed them up there. Oh, here are the Belials. I don't know why sometimes they use their magic and sometimes they attack. Oh, he used his special move. That one can sometimes make you fall asleep. Some monsters, we saw this early on with the chimeras. All right, he got hurt again. This is the third time I failed Ben. You need to get your shit together, Ben. But anyway. Like, we saw this early on with the chimeras who sometimes breathe fire. Certain monsters also have, like, a special move that they occasionally use. And I didn't realize the Belials had one until I had fought them many times. It must be, like, a low likelihood of happening. I'll just send him up here, I guess. I wonder if the Durahans, if you send... I haven't done this before. Oh, I was wondering... Yeah, I guess not. I was wondering if they'd attack if we got that close, but they just go up to their designated spots. I'm gonna have to wait because I need to save her MP. She has Blaze 4 now, and the way that works is that when it becomes Blaze 4, it is single target and it does an extraordinary amount of damage, so that's gonna be one of our best shots. Oh wow, Domingo, you did really good. And I'm just gonna say, he's a mage, right? Look at how much damage he did. Our other magic users can't even come close to that. It's ridiculous. He's so ridiculous. Also hilarious to me that Egress costs 8 MP. Ben will never learn any spells other than Egress. So it's just funny to me that he gained MP at all. Like, why is it even possible for him to have an MP growth? He'll never use more than 8 in one battle. As soon as he uses his spell, the battle is over. It's kind of silly. See, look, he got magic points. What are they for? In some other games, and I'm just not getting turns fast enough to kill these guys. Friends, in the many sessions that I did grinding this battle, we did not have this problem. We killed these mages so much faster. We haven't gotten there. Well, I was also having the birds stay back because I wanted to get X for some of the other characters, but fine, we'll clean up. Also funny, her sprite is moving, but the sword sprite is not here. It's like the sword is just pasted in place and the animation for her sprite is playing over it. I'm assuming that was just easier to program. Since this buttons do change depending what you're holding, so I'm guessing it's designed to just you know, so that way they can put any arbitrary sprite in there and they don't have to be animated or anything, but it's still silly. Man, I really can't get over it. Xylo was like wearing actual clothes before he promoted, but now it's like he decided to just strap on some armor on the sides and have nothing in the middle, and then someone was like, Xylo, you need to cover your ass, so he just put like a little tiny bandana over it. It's really awkward. It's like, Xylo, you had a pair of pants before. What did you do with them? Your promotion didn't make you get taller. He's trying to feel like he's one with his ancestors. They didn't wear pants. Man, the archer's outfits get so much cooler though. I just think they look so badass. Like the heavy duty boots and like it looks like it's like a chainmail tunic or something. Like they just look like they're ready to fight, you know? I don't know, they look cool. Some of them look silly, but I don't like their map sprites though. I think the map sprites don't look as good, but their in-battle sprites look really cool. And here's Balbaroy, who, missed his attack there, and pretty much looks the same as Almond, but with a different palette. Sorry, this battle is a complete shit show. I swear I did it, like, without a hitch in all of my grinding sessions, but as soon as I need to do it on camera, immediately it's just awkward as fuck. As is typical, I was talking about something and then I completely lost track of it. Oh, I think I was talking about stat maximize at some point. So like, even though these algorithm like, and this is his other, he summons spirits just like Xylo. It is actually just a recolor of his attacks, so he appears to also just be summoning wolves, which is sort of funny. But yeah, so you can technically maximize the stats if you're willing to keep resetting and trying again, because even though apparently as you go, your stats get further and further away from the expected average, your likelihood of either increasing or decreasing shifts to make you get close to that average. But if you have the patience, it doesn't make it impossible for you to gain more stats when you're above the average, just unlikely. So if you have the patience, you can keep on trying. I do not have that patience, nor do I think it's necessary for us to beat the game. That would be, you know, it would be a little silly for us to do that here. And it would take forever. Maybe if you're on emulator, like, you know, it's worth it, but I don't think so. I actually also saw advice being like, if your character doesn't get like at least points in like at least 3 stats, you shouldn't keep that level reset, and I'm just like, oh my god, what levels we get, we're just going, you know? These characters will be what they'll be. We've got like about, what, 30 of them? You know, I think at least some of them will turn out alright. We'll make it. Especially if they apparently usually just turn out average, I'm like, that's fine. I think the average will probably be enough to beat the game. Like, it's not that hard of a game, you know? It's not that it's super easy or anything, but you can grind. We can just level up more if we have to. This battle is actually fairly tricky though, and it's the regen, I would say, is kind of what does it, because she has lots of HP. Like 65 HP is a lot. And Bolt has such high range that it can just really we are going to have a bunch of fighters all attacking her at once to have any hope of chipping that HP down. But she's going to be able to do so much damage to us and to all of us, like as a group. Not just like single target or a couple targets. There's no way for us to avoid it. With the regen on top of that, it just means that we have to have everyone piling up on her to chip her down because the regen just gives her so much HP. It's whatever damage we deal is that minus 15 for the net, which is 15 is a lot. Now I'm gonna bait out these Durahan because we do not want to deal with all of these people at once. But we want to do that without getting in range of Bolt, which again, unlike the Freeze and Blaze spells, which we've seen sometimes on bosses so far, Bolt's range is 3, I believe. So it's harder for us to make sure we do not get within her range, because if we do, attack, as I discovered in one of my grinding runs, when I was trying to get the Durahan out. She will, in fact, cast Bolt. She will approach and cast Bolts if you give her a chance. We're just gonna put Domingo here. And then hopefully that will prompt the Durahan to just stroll on over. They'll put blue like right here. We gotta wait until they get their turn though. Honestly, the promotions are going to help a lot, if only because everyone, well, not everyone, not everyone has caught up yet, but we've got quite a few people who caught up in HP, and like May, you can see, has a lot more HP than she did before, and that's, HP is your only defense against magic. Your defense stat doesn't help. So the fact that a lot of our party has more HP now will help us survive against Bolt longer, because like, tragically, I've already used up pretty much all my healing MP. Because I'm much worse at this game than I wish I was. They came over during practice runs, so I need to move him 1 forward. I think, yeah, he goes 1 forward. I just gotta be super, super careful here, because if he goes over the boundary, if he goes like 1 more space, then it will be Bolt time. And that will be really bad. The Durahan are really slow though, so it takes a while to wait them out. There we go. Or not. What are you doing, Durahan? This worked when I was grinding. Why not now? Is it because we're higher level? The AI is responding differently? Just get over here so I can kill you. I can't fight the boss and you all at once. We'll just die. Berg. Just get over here. Oh, this... The rest of the battle, it did not take us that long to get to this point. Apparently it's going to take us this long to get the monster to come over so we can attack. We're like trying to tempt him very carefully. But I don't want to send my squishies out because the Durahan actually do hit really hard. So we're like just doing this delicate dance of luring them closer. There we go, there we go. The enemies I've noticed do have a tendency to attack Domingo. I'm assuming it's because he's a mage or something, even though he is the tankiest of my characters. So he can just super safely block paths and stuff. And look, not only is his defense that high, look how much HP he has. He's just insane. I'll move him here. This is really tricky because the Durahan hit like a truck, but we don't want to use magic on them because I literally want to save just like every shot we have for the boss. The boss is that tough. Like you saw how we got wiped out the first time we fought this battle. I think she'll be okay over here. The Power Spirit's kind of falling behind, but this way she's not in range of the boss, which is really, really important. Wow, man, that Power Spirit really sucks. this now. No, if he goes there, I think he'll be in range. This is so tough. If only we had a bird archer. Oh, and I also swapped the power ring out. Galore has the broadsword now, which is the upgraded sword. She can't quite get in the right spot. So it's slightly better than the steel sword. So I gave Amon she has the steel sword, which is a little weaker, so I gave her the power ring to balance it out a bit. See, they love attacking Domingo, even though he has more defense than anyone else in their range. They just... I don't know if the AI is set based on character class, not on how much defense they have. That's the only explanation I could think of. Oh, hang in there, Amon. But it's still dangerous for him to go toe-to-toe with the boss. He's got a lot of HP, but I don't want to tempt fate. I just want to carefully take out the Durahan first. It's really hard, though, primarily because we're avoiding... I'm gonna have Amon flee, because I don't know, like, what if she misses, you know? I'm trying to just be super cautious here. Okay, but she can now get in place, and hopefully with the Chrome Lance, which will... Or the Halberd, actually. She has a Halberd. You can see it's a 10-point difference in the Power Spear. Like, I wasn't kidding about the Power Spear losing some effectiveness here. And now you've seen the attack animation for melee. Oh, very nice. Very good. And she got a lot... You can see her HP was so limited before promotion. She's got boatloads of it now. I guess Galore can just carefully... We just gotta be so careful, because I want to get rid of the Durahan, then make sure everyone's healed up and ready to go, and then just try to attack the boss all at once, basically. I think that just, like, trying to blitz her down as fast as we can is our only hope, because the amount of damage she's gonna be able to do to us as time passes is just... Bolt 2 just does a lot, and does a lot to all of us, so we'll never be able to heal enough to keep up. It's just not possible. We cannot tank our way through this fight. Especially because of her regen, so we just have to try to just really, really fast, basically. So this is gonna be hard, but hopefully doable? Because you can see that the boss is the challenge here. The rest of the fight, mainly because I was trying to save MP, there was some awkwardness in places because, like, I didn't want to use my wizards, but it wasn't that tough, as you saw. It honestly was not. What is gonna make this, like, we just sort of breeze through it. Oh, right, he can't use it against someone he's directly next to. But what is gonna make this, I wish he had freeze 4 already, that would be even better, but what can you do? What is gonna make this fight tough? Oh, excellent, a deadly attack, good start, good start. But you can see, that attack alone will be completely undone by her regen on her. How much range is there in Blaze 4? No, she can't. I'll have her stay here. Fuck, so you can see the problem we're running into right here. She just hits so many people. And now she'll recover, and she'll recover everything we just did. So, like, or not yet. How frequently does her regen activate? I'm having Ben, I know it's risky, but his weapon is, like, the most powerful weapon we have right now. Look at that. This was honestly, that was so good. This may not actually be as difficult as I thought, primarily because we have the broken weapon now. Henri, help. She has freeze 4 already, so we can check out this spell. It does a lot. I think this may get us a KO. And see what I meant about her battle sprite? The color scheme is so dark that the shading looks a little weird. It normally does more. I think this enemy may have magic resistance. Henri? Get a lot of defense there for some reason. That's very strange. You won't be able to use it, so... Okay, blue, I think blue will take us home here. This was a lot easier than I was fearing it would be. Like, because, again, recall, the first time we fought this battle, we got fucking stomped. We could not do it. And admittedly, I had kind of run out of MP on the wizard, so, like, we weren't in the best situation where I was a lot more careful here. But a primary reason that this went so well is honestly because of the Sword of Light, because you saw how much damage Ben did. He just did, like, almost a third of her HP, a little more than a third of her HP in one hit. And before, he would have done, like, 1 damage. And the upgraded weapon is a big part of that, obviously. And so part of the reason I was grinding is because when I looked it up, the Sword of Light can only be used by Ben's promoted class. So, and I really wanted us to be able to wield it. So I was like, you know what, I should just grind and get everyone promoted so we can finally use these upgraded weapons that are taking up inventory space. So he can finally use the weapon now, and with that, he could actually stand a chance against this honestly pretty tough boss. And of course, we kind of positioned everyone pretty carefully and, you know, got lined up our wizards. Alright, you may take my sword, but don't stop Dark Soul. Lady, if you didn't want to take the sword, you shouldn't have left it in a chest that you didn't lock or guard in any way. You could have, like, had it in your inventory. Dark Dragon will be set free. Will Dark Soul release Dark Dragon from the bonds of the Ancients? I gotta say, it's looking like yes, he has all the tools needed. Or will Ben stop Dark Soul and save all of Rune from the ultimate evil? We might do that after he releases the dragon. The Shining Force hurries on to prompt. So at last, we've been hearing about prompt for ages. Oh, end of chapter 6. This game has a lot more chapters than I thought. I thought it was a lot shorter than this. But some of the chapters were shorter than I thought too. So that only took half an hour, not bad. Chapter 7, The Lost Civilization. So we heard in the past that prompt is connected to the Ancients, right? So, you know, we're going to learn all some cool things now. The Shining Force quickly reached prompt, hoping that they had come in time. We're also going to find a secret character here. Now it's... We gotta search, like... I know it's neat. I'm pretty sure this sign, it kind of looks like it has Japanese characters on it. Like, it looks... It's sort of vague, but I wonder if it was just like, you know, there's no point in bothering to change the graphic there. I believe it's this little piece of paper. Maybe it's a different piece of paper. I know it's in prompt. I can say that much. Where is it? I don't want to ruin the surprise here, so but there's a certain spot that we need to search. And then when we do, a certain someone will join the party. And I thought it was this, but it would appear not to be. So it's somewhere else. Maybe the sign is later and this is the one that's... There are two different secret characters we're going to find by searching various things. One of them we need to search a sign, one we need to search a certain bush. And neither of them... This is prompt, right? Is this really prompt? I mean, that's what I'm now asking. I'm like, dude, I'm sure it's in prompt. Also, you need to get out of the way, buddy. Oh good, we can go around the other way. I may have to... I really thought it was in this building, and I may have to quickly check. Because... Yeah, I'm just gonna, quickly... Oh, I forgot I closed the page I had open on this too, so I'm gonna have to quickly Google it. One moment. I could have sworn... I know it's in prompt, but I gotta remember... The original FAQ I had like a picture and stuff of the exact location. No, this isn't what I'm looking for. Where's the original? Oh, I think it's this page. Okay, I know this is so exciting listening to me Google things, but yeah, this is the one. It's just not working. Oh, read it after you have been imprisoned. Okay, so we have to read it not right now, but at a later date. But I was right. It was that specific note. Okay, we just have to wait. Ancients, who are they? A group of minstrels? So, as our buddy, what's his name? Boko or Bokon something? The traveler guy. Have they posted the lunch menu? I can't wait. You know what's interesting? These are the same sprites as the guys in Warrel, which also had connections to the Ancients. So, like... Is that a coincidence? Shining Path? Maybe the king knows about it. Making noodles, making dumplings, and many more books. I would love to own those books. That sounds fun. Dumplings and noodles are very tasty. Nothing in here. What do you got to say? Dark Dragon, who cares? Let's talk about food. This guy, I feel like I understand him deeply. Tales of Really Long Ago, A History of Prompt in Many More Books. I love the idea of a book called Tales of Really Long Ago. Who says thinking is boring? I think about dinner all the time. See, maybe getting the impression that everyone here is like, Bokon was like, oh, everyone here seems really dumb. So as you might guess, obviously everyone is pretending to be dumb to protect the... All I need to know I learned from my cat. That's wonderful. Everyone's pretending to be dumb to protect the secrets of the ancients. Obviously. I don't think that's a spoiler. I mean, this is a very common trope. Be quiet and sit down, you little beasts. Wow. That lady probably shouldn't be a teacher. No hens in class. That's actually a good rule. They would get in the way. How to write real good. I'm guessing that thing on the back wall there is some sort of map, although it doesn't seem to match the shape of the continents we've been on, but maybe these have all been different islands? The people here are so backward, no one wants to learn anything. I wonder if this is like a take on like real life like missionary schools and stuff, like these people are supposed to be non-native to the area. There, you talk to this guy? Welcome to Prompt. It's kind of nice how the welcome guy, we appeared here, but this is not the entrance to town. At all. Don't ask me anything, I'm not from around here, I just drive from Rindo. We were in Rindo earlier. Okay, so here's where we finally get a lot of the good stuff. We want one of these, and this is for Amon, because right now she's only got the steel sword. We found one broadsword, but not a second one. We don't need one for Ben because the Sword of Light is much better than like everything. I guess we'll get one of these for low. Like again, we have 126,000 gold. We don't exactly need to be thrifty about our weapon picks. Our healers can have new ones too. Oh, these are really good. The Assault Shell is the upgraded weapon for our bow users. It's funny that they're called bowmasters, but they're now using guns. And like, they're definitely guns. The weapons they're wielding are called assault shells. It's not even subtle. But they're still called bowmasters, not like rifle master or something. And we'll also buy one for Lyle. So these are really gonna boost. And we'll get these great axes. Not that we're really like using our warriors or anything, but you know, what if we want to again eventually? Alright, I guess he can have it, and I'll just give this to someone else, and we'll like equip and swap things around later. Oh, this is actually putting a dent in our gold. We're down to 94,000. 84,000. It's like, dang. But, I mean, it's 10,000 gold. So these weapons, I think I mentioned at an earlier point in the game that, like, we didn't need money a lot early on. There was nothing to buy from the shops, but that eventually we would really need money. This is what I was talking about. When you promote, you suddenly have to buy everyone new weapons. And some of those weapons, like we saw with the Great Axe, are incredibly expensive. So I'm just going to equip some stuff here while I talk. So these, and the two axes cost 10,000 each. The swords cost a lot. So when you hit that point in the game, it's a huge expense. So this axe, basically, we found it ages ago. It's a little weaker, but it does, as an item, cast Blaze too, so that's neat. I think when you use weapons as items, there's a chance they break, but I don't really remember. But yeah, this is a boost of 15, so these upgraded weapons are also an enormous power boost, which again was part of why I wanted to make sure that we promoted everyone. Our healers are obviously never going to be exactly powerhouses, but it doesn't hurt. Alright, everybody got her equipped. That ring she's using boost defense, and since only she, Ben, and Lo can use it, and Lo's not in the main party right now, I gave it to her because I'd rather Ben use the agility boosting one, so he can get his turn more often. He's a little slow now. His speed lagged behind. Maybe that may change as he gets more levels. So you can see again the crazy power boost that this actually is. Which is also why waiting to promote is tough, because your stats are higher. Again, we lost like 7 points of stats for certain people in different stats. But you are also missing these upgraded weapons, which just give you enormous attack power. So now that we've we waited to promote and we now have the upgraded weapons, so our characters are going to be quite a lot better. You know, compared to like occasionally in the past when we would just be like struggling to even do any damage. Those frustrating days, for now, you know, well, enemies will upgrade it too, of course. You know, that's games, right? Ika says, hey, that's nice. I think those may count as some of the special items that you can later get from deals. In spite of the fact that in the last town we could buy them. But I think you, like, can't buy them the rest of the game. I hope it's not that... I thought the Buster thing was also 3 range. But it's possible I was forgetting. But I mean, I feel like we gotta swap to it anyway because the power boost is so high. That the extra range... I think the trade-off would just be too much. Okay, so we did some soloing. Did that. That guy wandered off all the way up there somehow. So now obviously the next place we need to go is the part that was blocked off. Did we already go in here? Yeah, we did. I don't think we went in this little house yet. Oh, those are all books, I think. Shining Path. Hey, are you sure you want to know about that? Sure, buddy. The king might know something about that. He's always reading old books. I guess those are I think those are books, yeah. They just look a little strange in the sprites. This is Prompt Castle. Lovely, isn't it? It's all underground. I think this guy won't let us buy yet. Whoa, I can't let anyone pass. King's orders. Okay, so we gotta go in the castle, obviously, and talk to the king. And apparently we're gonna end up in prison, according to Fact of Secrets I read. Spoilers. It isn't much, but it's the only one we have. So what's this thing? It looks like a teleporter. Will that take us to the Shining Path? King Kusuko. Apparently it's very odd equipment, according to Ben. And these are like random statues that Ben has nothing to say about. This is Grandpa's room. He's pondering something difficult. You'd better not disturb him. What are you pondering, friend? Run along now, youngster. I'm doing vital research here. He won't share. Legends of Dark Dragon, Weapons of the Ancients, many more books. What are you pondering? Deep thought requires absolute silence. Let me resume thinking. I actually sometimes find that, like, I think better with some white noise in the background, like this white noise app, like last month, and sometimes I use it at work when I'm trying to concentrate. I have a shared office, you know, and it's just like sounds of rain or like the ocean in the background. So I don't know if I agree with that guy. Sometimes absolute silence isn't the ideal. Oh wow, so this must be like the most ancient part of the castle, which, if there are the ancients, so maybe like, you know, it was like destroyed long ago and like the land used to be higher or something and it like sank as the mountains shifted. I don't know how ancient, you know. Dark Dragon was sealed 1,000 years ago, but the ancients could be even older than that potentially. Oh, and we see there the same symbol that we've seen before. This was like near the pool of the ancients where we used the orb of light, so same deal here. Also, if you want to guard your castle, I feel like closing the door would be a better... Like, they're just standing in front of it being like, nothing to see here. Just put a door right there and lock it. They're not very... I know they're just pretending to be dumb, but also they might actually be kind of dumb. I'm just getting that impression here. Alright, we're gonna explore everything before we talk to the king. Quiet, please. Somebody's very sick in the castle. Oh, no. The books all over the floor. Sorry, no time for idle chatter. Children of the Ancients, creation of the Ancients, etc. I'm guessing we're going to be imprisoned in that room later because, there's some bars on the door. This will be the second time in this game that we've been in prison. This is something of a pattern. All hail King Kusuko! He has the same generic sprite as the king from our town! Be polite or we'll throw you in prison! I'm gonna check out this area first. These stairs lead to the prison. Nothing to see down there now. But there will be when you're inside. We're gonna get locked up. Sorry, no visitors until he recovers from his wounds. Poor guy, whoever he is. Now, who is that, I wonder? Are we going to recruit them? I don't remember. This is the part of the game where I'm like, I don't remember this at all. Even though I must have played this as a child, because I remember some of the weapons. I remember, like, buying the Buster Shot and stuff, or the Assault Shell, rather. I think it was called that in a different game. And, like, the axes. So I feel like I must have gotten this far. And I also at least once recruited a certain character that's coming up later. But it's so hazy. I remember the earlier parts of the game a lot more. I feel like I must have played the game more than once and not finished it, and then I like maybe finished it once, or got close to the end once, and so I don't remember it. Look, it is indeed the same sprite. We've met this king about 4 times. They should have just not given the kings, besides the plot important first guy, face portraits, you know, because it just... it's so strange. What brings you to prompt? Ancient Dark Dragon? What is this nonsense? You're a spy, aren't you? Sent by our enemies to find our weaknesses. Okay, pro tip for this king, if you want to pretend you don't know anything about the Ancients, accusing us of being a spy as soon as we bring them up makes it seem like you definitely know about them. I'm not a spy. You're lying. We know how to deal with spies. And now I wish I'd said yes, because that might have been funnier. Yep, I'm a spy. Although he probably would have just said, oh, I knew it. Great. I thought so, yeah. I was like, we better shut the door. This guy is here. Okay, now I'm really lost. Hey, Ben, what's up? Don't worry, I'll let you out. Again, I think that a lot of the problems this town faces could be solved if they learned to fucking install a door on the palace so that people won't wander around. I think I'm gonna stop wandering and settle down. Maybe in Warrell. See ya. That's where he emerged from the seas, like the Venus de Milo. Or Milo? I don't know. I've never heard that said out loud. I've only seen it in writing. You know what I'm talking about. The famous painting where she's emerging from the water, she's on a seashell, etc. It's just a little classics joke there, which I then ruined by explaining. You know, no one seems concerned that we bust out of prison. I'm gonna go talk to the king again. Buddy, sub. Oh. King Kusugo, a messenger from those who left for the Tower of the Ancients. He looks just like the guy just left. Aleph and Tarasu say Dark Soul seems unbeatable. They cannot hold out for long. Aleph and Tarasu are going to be party members, FYI. Aside from the 2 secret characters, we've got those 2 and 1 other guy left. Friend. You heard the report, I assume. The Tower of the Ancients is east of here. When I heard Dark Soul was there, I sent troops to stop him. He is trying to raise the Castle of the Ancients from beneath the sea. Why does he need to do that? I think in Warrow we heard some sort of... Or we heard somewhere, maybe it was in that dragon place, someone told us that, like, if you go to, like, the westernmost part of the sea, there'll be this, different place, and then you can raise... Someone told us something about this earlier in the game. He must be stopped before he awakens Dark Dragon, but I thought Dark Dragon was behind that gate back in Guardiana, the one we saw at the very start of the game, and all he needed was the key and the seal, so why... does he need to raise the Castle of the Ancients? Because I really thought he just had to head back to Guardiana. Since my troops have failed, it's all up to you now, Ben. You know, you don't seem to be concerned about the fact that we just busted out of prison. Like, we didn't even have to show him the Sword of Light as proof that we're legit. Okay, well, I guess I'll go. Thanks for nothing, buddy. This isn't useful yet. I assume that, like, once we go fight in this tower, he'll let us go on the shining path, finally. Because, like, presumably, once we, like, prove ourselves, he'll let us go down to the basement room and in here and all. No one can leave here. That's interesting, because I thought before he said no one can enter here, but he said no one can leave here. So is he, like, guarding a prison? Oh, and now, yeah, now that we've been imprisoned, we can recruit the secret character. So let's try this again. Words are carved into the wall, or alternately, written on that little piece of paper that I'm clearly looking at. I am Musashi the Samurai. I have come to join the fight against evil. I await at headquarters. Is it still there if we look again? Yeah, it is, I guess. I thought maybe it would, like, disappear because we finished the event. So let's go check him out. He's one of the 2 secret characters. The other one is a ninja. There you go. I think there's a secret samurai and secret ninja in every game, because there were ones in Sword of Asia as well. That might be like a Shining Force tradition. So let's go dig out our new buddy, and I'm not sure where he's sitting. He's hanging out on the bed. He has a very fancy helmet. Yawn, sorry, I must have dozed off. Did I miss anything important? You're not making the best first impression, buddy. I don't think we're gonna use him in our main party just because, you know, I already have a team I kind of like here that are at least vaguely connected to the story, but he's actually quite a strong character. And he also, I believe he's already promoted. You can't promote him. Maybe I'm wrong though. But importantly, he comes with the special item katana, which is unique to him, I believe. And as you can see, I think he is already promoted. But anyway, his stats are absurd. He's also level 10, so he's way higher level than us. His movement isn't as high as some of our dudes, but he's really strong. And his defenses are just as good as Domingo. To be fair, he is fairly difficult to get, not because you have to check the note on the wall. A lot of players would probably just want to see what it said. You know, most of the signs in the game say stuff. But because you have to check specifically after you get imprisoned and not before. So you might check it, find nothing, and then not realize you should check it again. So he is fairly difficult to get, which I assume is why he's so good. Oh, actually, you know, I bet that guy who said you can't leave, that must be the exit to the town. So I'm assuming that, it's been about an hour, but let's at least figure out how to get out of the town. Because we need to go fight our next battle. And I sort of assumed that once we had talked to the king, it would just kind of happen. We already talked to the king. We gotta go... Maybe we have to go check out the secret underground thing? I kind of thought that would be for later, but I could be wrong. Maybe that's how you get to the Tower of the Ancients. I don't know because I don't remember this part of the game. No one's dialogue seems to have changed. Listen to the majestic background music. No, he's... Alright, the Shining Path begins here and leads to Matafa. That's the land of the Ancients we keep hearing about. We need more time to repair it. Okay, I thought this was later. There's like a battle we gotta fight first. That guy didn't change. He didn't get the memo about us being friends now. Oops. Damn it, I'm glad Nintendo builds their controllers sturdy because I have dropped these things a lot. Oh, it's... The holder, the face of the holder is actually a little scuffed up. Mostly from me being a complete butterfingers. Sorry the back end of this episode. We like fought a battle that didn't take very long and now you're just stuck watching me wander around because I don't know where I'm going. This is a semi-blind playthrough. I looked up a couple of the secrets, and also I remember parts of the game, but... Oh, rest down until I was ready for your journey. So... Rest where? What do I need to do to trigger the cutscene? Oh, we're allowed to go in here now, okay. I assume you're important. He's not dead! Kane made it! Oh, hi! I thought you died, buddy! You're okay! I really thought he was gone when Dark Soul killed him. His name is Kane, someone found him seriously injured. When he recovers his strength, you two can talk. Just be patient. Again, please, King Kusuko, let Ben go to the Tower of the Ancients. Aw, Kane, you're helping us out. Although again, A, didn't the king already say that he needed us to do this? B, we have the Orb of Light and the Sword of Light. I think the king should recognize our credentials. But instead, he's like, oh, this random guy I found on the ground that I don't know anything about said I should do it, so I'll do it. Again, the people in this town are supposed to be pretending to be dumb, but I think they may be actually pretty dumb. I owe him a great deal. Please let him go. He passed out. I give in, like, that's what made you do this, you dumb fuck. Like, okay, so now we can, next time we can enter the battle. was slightly convoluted. I mean, I realize it's one of those things in RPGs where you'll eventually work it out because it's like, we can't move onwards, what should we do? Try to go to all the places that were blocked before and see which one opened up due to the event flag. But it's still like, that was such a non-obvious way. It was like, why is this guy the secret? Also, again, the thing I think is fascinating is that, as I mentioned in the episode where we fought him, going out, enjoy yourself. We're not going out yet though, because there'll be a battle. As I mentioned in the episode where we fought Kane, he, in the Japanese version, was explicitly said to be the main character's brother. So his desire to help us here and get us into the Tower of the Ancients, and the fact that he appeared again and, like, obviously this is like, oh, whoa, it's a big story thing, makes much more sense. It's like, oh, he survived, this is, maybe we can be reunited one day, he's still helping us out. That all fits together. In the English version, that's never actually stated, so it's just like this guy was the villain for, like, the first half of the game. And then, we're taking a rest now. We beat him and it's like, oh, he was just mind controlled the whole time. And then he decided to help us out for some reason and got attacked by Dark Soul and we thought he died, but it turns out we didn't. And it's just like, oh, that guy's back? Okay. It seems to have nothing to do with anything. So I'm like, why didn't they just keep in that he's your brother? It makes the game make much more sense. So strange. But who knows? I actually honestly had no idea he came back. I thought he was dead in that last time we saw him. So this is like, oh, he's still in the game. That's nice, you know? It's nice. He can go home one day and recover from all of this terrible trauma of being mind controlled and of murdering everyone. But so in this battle episode, we defeated a battle that was not as hard as I thought it was going to be, thanks to our promotions and levels. Bought new equipment for everyone, so we're super badass now. And in the next episode, Dark Soul is at the Tower of Ancients, and we have to go defeat him. So we're going to be able to show off all of this brand new equipment and hopefully just destroy Dark Soul's army. And then we'll get 2 new friends. So look forward to that. We're going to get our final mage and our final healer. And it's going to be pretty awesome. Now this raises the question of, will I put Aleph in the party? And if so, who gets left behind? This is going to be a very difficult decision because I already have 3 mages. I might be overloading on mages. But, oh wow. I waited long enough that the game restarted. I was busy complaining about various things. Well, that'll be discussion for next time. Simone has already left, so we don't have time to say goodbye to her. But farewell, viewers. Look forward to next time when we'll go to the Tower of Ancients and show off our new gear. It'll be great. Till then, this has been Shining Force.